Berbers, also referred to as the Amazigh, are an ethnic group indigenous to North Africa. Further, they are any descendants of the pre-Arab inhabitants of North Africa. They live in scattered communities across Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, Libya, Egypt, Mali, Niger, and Mauritania. The focus of this presentation will be the Berbers of Morocco. The term Berber comes from the Greek barbario and the Latin barbari. The two terms translate to primitive or foreign. For this reason, some individuals prefer to refer to themselves as Amazigh, which means noble or freeborn. It was the Arabs who had enlisted Berber warriors for the conquest of Spain during the 8th century who gave those peoples a single name. Morocco's Berbers were previously nomadic peoples who roamed the Maghreb. Now they have settled down in the mountains and deserts of Morocco. During the Phoenician rule, Morocco's settlement began. It only accelerated under Roman, Vandal, Byzantine, and Arab rule. During the 7th century, Arabs invaded northern Africa. As a result, Arabization was brought about, and eventually so was the conversion of the Berbers to Sunni Islam. This so-called de-Berberization of North Africa began with the Punic invasion. For this reason, the majority of Arabs in Morocco would be better described as Arabized Berbers. Assimilation mostly occurred in the cities and coastal regions of the country. That said, prior to the Arab invasion of the 7th century, Moroccan Berbers were either Christians, Jews, or animists. Animists believe that not only do humans have souls and spirits, but so do all plants and animals. Even the planet is believed to be spiritual, connecting everything to each other. The Berbers have a long ancient history. Even so, it is often overlooked because the ancient people had no written language. The first evidence of their existence can be traced back to North African cave paintings, which are believed to be up to 12,000 years old. Like in a number of other North African countries, language is the main determinant of ethnicity in Morocco. Berber speakers are concentrated in the Rif, Middle Atlas, High Atlas, and Anti-Atlas. Because they were forced to retreat into such mountainous regions of the country, assimilation and intermarriage began to take place. Even today, assimilation and intermarriage are far from uncommon. Moroccan Berbers speak one of three dialects, them being Rifi of the Rif, Tamazight of the Middle Atlas and the Sahara, and Tashalahit of the High Atlas and Anti-Atlas. On top of language, Moroccan Berber tribes are also oftentimes divided into three regional groups, including the Rifians of the north, the Shlu of the southeast, and the Berber of central Morocco and the Sahara. It is difficult to come across an accurate count of Berbers for a number of reasons, including a lack of thorough surveys. That said, they are estimated to make up 3/5 of the Moroccan population. Across all of Africa, there's an estimated 30 to 40 million Berber speakers. Despite converting to Islam, Berbers have resisted Arab and other foreign rule whenever possible. A number of times, they have even been able to maintain autonomous states. Most recently, an autonomous state was established in the Rif region under French colonial rule. In 1957, the Kingdom of Morocco gained independence. This created a new political situation wherein Berber nationalism rose to the surface. Such nationalism was a reaction to policies of the new governments, which viewed a separate Berber identity as a symbol of colonialism. This colonialism was treated as incompatible with national unity, which the new governments hoped to achieve. In acts of rebellion, there were two unsuccessful Berber uprisings during the first 3 years of Moroccan rule. 1 year after the Kingdom of Morocco gained independence, in 1958, a strictly Berber political party was formed. it was called Mouvement Populaire, which translates into popular movement. This political party formalized discontent among the Berber population in Morocco. Mouvement Populaire was a so-called large populist party which referred to itself as Moroccan rural people. Because the majority of the Moroccan rural population was Berber, Mouvement Populaire became better known as the Berber Nationalist Party. Despite the formation of a strictly Berber political party, discontent led to two Berber revolts, one in 1973 and another in the 1980s. The two main causes were 1. Economic deprivation, and 2. A general feeling that the Moroccan government was ignoring the population's problems. Nowadays, Berbers in Morocco consider their identity to be mainly threatened by marginalization and exclusion from access to education and media exposure in the country. In 1999, country reports said that Berbers face cultural marginalization and continue to press the government to preserve their language and culture. This is after years of struggling to promote the Tamazight language. In 1991, multiple Berber cultural associations met in Agadir, Morocco, where the Agadir Charter was signed. It outlined Berbers' demands for the resurrection of the Institute of Tamazight Studies and Research. The institute was intended to perform three main tasks, them being 1. Elaborating a unified alphabetical system to make the transcription of the Tamazight language accurate, 2. Standardizing the Tamazight grammar, and 3. Developing appropriate learning tools to teach the Tamazight language. By inserting Tamazight language programs into the public educational system, the Institute would be able to incorporate the language and culture into educational activities. Later on, a Department of Tamazight Language and Culture could also be inserted into Moroccan universities. Despite these changes to the Moroccan constitution, which were in fact institutionalized, the government has been said to continue to suppress the Tamazight language as a symbol of Berber and cultural rights. An example of this suppression is Moroccan newspaper publications. Although Tamazight is allowed in newspapers, editors who publish the Berber language are oftentimes interrogated by state officials. Another form of suppression occurred in March 1994 when the Ilma's Cultural Association was prevented from holding a conference on Berber language and writing. Similarly, in April 1994, the Moroccan Association for Research and Cultural Exchange was denied permission to organize a special day for Berber theater in the city of Rabat. Taking things a step further, 28 Berber activists were arrested on May 1st of 1994. The arrests were a result of protests in favor of the individual's language and general Berber cultural revival. Later that month, on May 27th, 3 of the 28 activists were convicted and sentenced to jail for 2 to 3 years each. Following this event, the government began broadcasting television and radio news in the Tamazight language. And 2 months later, in July of 1994, King Hassan granted amnesty to the 3 activists who were convicted. It would seem that the situation for Berbers of Morocco was suddenly starting to improve. However, that same month, a Berber cultural association in the city of Agadir was banned by the governor. Additionally, a conference in the city of Nador was also banned. Following this, there was a bit of a lull. However, 18 months later, another Berber event was banned. This time, in January 1996, it was a Berber Cultural Week in Rabat that was banned. After this ban, advocates of the Berber culture and language took action in a number of ways. Firstly, on February 5th of the same year, the Human Rights Association of Morocco denounced the ban on Berber Cultural Week. A few short weeks later, on February 28th, Berber associations called on Morocco to make its teaching in schools necessary. And then, on September 30th, the Berber Cultural Society made a public statement denouncing the harassment that they are subject to. No immediate change resulted from these proclamations of Berber rights activists. That said, on July 10, 1998, the Moroccan communications minister publicly encouraged the use of Berber language in advertisements. 7 days later, on July 17th, the Moroccan Culture Department announced that they had plans to create local museums dedicated to preserving Berber heritage. Additionally, they plan to promote the culture through books, plays, music, and paintings. The 2011 Moroccan constitution included the Berber dialect, Tamazight, as an official language of the country. As well, in 2012, the National Education Minister promised to double the number of students taking Tamazight classes. Even so, Berber rights activist groups claim that many promises of Berber integration have yet to materialize. Thus, it makes sense that Berbers continue to be subject to abuses. Kadiha Rihad, who acted as president of the Moroccan Association for Human Rights from 2000 to 2013 and won a Human Rights United Nations prize, recently denounced what she called a return to the years of lead. The years of lead took place in Morocco between the 1970s and 1980s. These years are widely held to be the worst years in the history of Morocco since independence. This is because the time period was marked by huge state violence against dissidents and democracy activists. During these years, some dissidents, meaning people who oppose a political party, were arrested and imprisoned while others disappeared. As well, books were banned, newspapers closed, and demonstrations shut down. Today's repression, Riyadh recognizes, is much less brutal than the oppressive years of lead. That said, an article written in January 2019 cited a major rise in recent harassment, arrests, and police violence against Berber activists in Morocco. One activist, Adela Lefnatsa, said that achievements such as freedom of expression have started to be rolled back. This can be seen in the following statistic. Over 1,000 people have been jailed on politically related charges between 2017 and 2019. Thus, while the situation for Berbers of Morocco has undeniably improved in recent years, there is still a long ways to go before equality is reached within the country.